2026 is round the corner. 2025 has just happened. Maybe you've had the best year of your life. Maybe it's been absolutely shocking, or maybe it has just been so repetitive that you cannot be bothered to even wonder whether it's going to be a good year or not. Regardless, I have got you. I have got you. The reason I'm going to be able to give you the step-by-step process of how to master 2026 is because I actually do this for a living. I actually help people go from being down and out, depressed, lost, stuck, in a rut, whatever you want to call it, to living the most incredible lives, becoming millionaires, becoming married, coming off antidepressants, coming off ADHD tablets, coming off anxiety tablets, coming off suicidal thoughts, you name it. I've had the privilege to get people away from it. Substance abuse as well. I've even helped people become the dads that they need to be in order to be able to get in touch and see their kids again. And I want to give you the top 8 tips that I have got for you. This magic bit of paper in the sacred book of the Bible. What a combination. I want to be able to give it to you just to be able to go away and actually have a blueprint to follow, because I understand there'll be loads of content out there. Go and consume everyone else's stuff by all means, but ultimately, if you just do these 8 steps and follow them to a T, and wake up and follow it to a T, and wake up and follow it to a T, I guarantee you that next year will be the best year of your life. So the first thing that you are going to do, okay, is you're going to get a piece of paper, by the way, or you best be typing your document on the laptop, right? In fact, actually, I will link a document below this. Click it, make a copy, all right? And then you'll be able to follow it step by step and take notes as well. So you're going to get crystal clear on what it is that you want from next year. I don't want you to hold back, but I do want you to focus on one thing. I want you to make sure that it feels right, that it's not forced, that you're not coming from a materialistic lead. I don't want you, the house, the car, the watch, the money, yada, 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 because straight away you're going to feel so disconnected from it. And the most important thing that you actually do need to focus on is the emotion behind what it is that you actually want to bring into your life. And I'll explain that a little bit down on the list. So really get crystal clear on what it is that you want. Now, a way that I like doing this is I loved writing out my perfect day. And actually, as I sit here, my document that I wrote at the start of the year is now my life that I'm currently living at the moment. That is crazy. That has actually just clicked. So yeah, at the start of every year, I write in a document my perfect day, and I've only just realised now this is how much I just appreciate life. I'm actually currently living it, which is absolutely beautiful. So get crystal clear on the document. From the moment you wake up until the moment that you go to sleep, what would your most perfect day look like? And then in there, what I want you to be able to put in is your revenue. I want you to put in whether you've got a partner or a relationship. Did you walk out onto the balcony of your house and you heard the birds tweeting? What colour was the sky? Was it a beautiful sunrise? All right. Was it a little bit cloudy? You know, were the birds chirping away? Can you hear chickens? Have you got a rooster waking you up? And I really want you to get specific on it. Because if we don't have clarity, then our mind will live in confusion. And ultimately, if we're walking and around the world in a state of confusion, the universe is going to pick that up. It's going to magnify it. It's going to maintain it. And ultimately, the universe loves clarity. Certainty is where you need to be. Now, once you have got your perfect day written out, and go into detail, set a little candle, put a little bit of calming music on, whatever it is, all right, just sit down, relax, and spend time with yourself. Now we've got the day sorted. We need to work out the type of individual that would actually be living in that day. Now, if you are someone that's going to focus on bringing in a certain amount of money or success in business or a relationship, if you don't currently live that life at the moment, it's going to take a completely different individual, a completely different frequency, completely different skill set, completely different mindset than what you currently have now. Please don't get overwhelmed. It is so simple to be able to do. How would they wake up? Would they wake up motivated? Would they wake up pissed off? Would they hit snooze? How would they dress? How would they think? How would they feel? How would they act? When I done this, I redesigned my hair. I went into detail of what clothes I was going to wear. I went into detail about how I'm going to shake hands with someone. I went into detail of how I would produce my content. I went into detail of every single aspect of state of consciousness that that person would be living in. The reason why that this is important is because we can dive into the neuroscience side of things, but ultimately I'm just going to give you a quote from the Bible, Proverbs 23:7. As a man think in his heart, so is he. So along with that, I want you to really focus on that self-talk. You'll have them doubts, you'll have them fears, you'll have them worries, people telling you it's not possible. You'll have so much information coming from the outside world. So we need to make sure that we internally create the beautiful human that would be living in that life. Now, once you have done that, focus on what physique do you want? Do you want to be ripped? Do you want to be bulky? All right. Once you have got into the rhythm of who it is that's going to be in that reality, that then becomes your daily blueprint. And then what happens is you start to behave from that level of consciousness. Then behaviors then lead you to get a feeling of what you feel compelled to be able to do. So whenever I produce content, I get myself into a state of consciousness of a world-class coach that is helping some of the biggest names in their industries. All right, so I'm in that frequency, I'm in that state. So the things that come out of my mouth, the way that my mind is operating from that level. Now, I've had it where I've been driving and it's like turn left here, turn right here, go and have a coffee here, speak to this person, post this video, do. So I'm getting the right nudges and my intuition telling me what to do because I'm operating, okay? I'm operating from the state of consciousness from the person that would actually be, in fact, living in that reality. Now, how do you get in to that state of consciousness? So once you've got crystal clear on the day, your perfect day, then you've got crystal clear on the person, the individual, how you think, how you feel, how you act, how you behave, all right, how you speak to yourself. Them are the main things I want you to be able to focus on. Okay, you then go down into the structure and the routine that you have first thing in the morning. Now, the reason why you would have a solid structure and routine first thing in the morning is because we wake up confused, but we want to live a life full of certainty. Now, the first thing I do in the morning is I speak to God and I'm just grateful for another day and I'm breathing, I'm happy, I'm healthy and I'm well. I just get my nervous system into a state of peace and calmness, because if I was already living my dream life, I would feel happy, I would feel relieved, I'd feel in love, I'd feel, as best as I possibly could, because ultimately I'm living a life that I've always dreamed of having. So when you have a solid structure and routine, you're going to bed knowing that you're set up for the next day. You're waking up with a focus, all right? I call it connecting to the light. I want you to ignite that fire in your belly. I want you to be organized. I want you to get into that state of consciousness. And the best thing that you can do in this routine is ultimately sit in silence, okay? So I sit in silence, let all the thoughts come and have a little part in my head for a little bit. Don't judge them, just acknowledge them. It's okay. And when the thoughts come in, all right, this is a little bit of a coaching tip for you. I just respond to them how someone living in my reality would actually respond to them. So I wouldn't be bothered. I know it isn't the truth. I calm my nervous system and I go accordingly. But then what I do is I sit there and I have a magic moment. Okay, so at the end of the silence, after about 20 minutes, I have a magic moment and my mum hugs me. All right, I walk out onto the balcony and my mum hugs me. She said, "Oh, I'm so proud of you." That then gives me a feeling, that then gives me an emotion, that then generates a frequency, all right? And then that just puts me into the most joyful state. In fact, I probably cry most mornings when I really feel, put a smile to my face, when I really feel my mum's love and warmth. And, what does she smell like? Is there grass around me? Is my mum's little dog getting jealous, barking at me? The same scenario. And I just play it 5-6 times over in my head until it feels the normal. And then I live in that emotional state. Now, the main thing after that is that emotional state you need to be so protective of. Because as soon as we leave the house, we've got ourselves into this amazing headspace and we're living in that frequency and we know that we're going to, like attracts like and all that rubbish, right? Then we react to situations and we get angry. But I don't want you being in a frequency and then all of a sudden you react and you're just pissed off, because then you go from a beautiful emotional state where the intuition's guiding you left here, right here, film this, shake this person's hand, say this in the meeting, to just pissed off. So every time situations happen, I want you to respond to them. And this is the next stage that comes in. This year, focus on, so this is number 4, focus on God. Focus on God. Focus on your faith, because this has really calmed my nervous system down. I would normally do videos screaming, shouting, masculinity, blah, 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 blah. But now it's just a calm aura. Now it's just a calm energy, because I've spent the last year in the trenches purifying my heart and really becoming empathetic and forgiving myself and forgiving other people and accepting certain stages of my life. And it really helps with being able to keep that emotional state, because I pray and I sit in silence and I hear the answers coming, and I read the Bible every single day. I just go through it once or twice a day, and I really just get into that state of peace. Peace is really important for me now, because how would you feel if you was living your dream life? You would feel peaceful, you know? We want to make sure that we are in that state. And what you're praying for will always turn up when you're prepared. And we are literally preparing you for blessings. We are preparing you for this amazing year that you have actually coming your way. So just, even if you don't know anything about God, even if you don't know anything about spirituality, just talk. Just have a little prayer in the morning. God, thank you for another day. You know, before you eat your food, God, thank you for this food. And slowly just start building a relationship. Don't have to pick up the Bible every single day and read that, you know, that will come. I was exactly the same. But just focus on having faith. And once you start to feel that love, you just know that everything is going to work out. I was at a stage in my life where it was rock bottom. I couldn't see a way out. I was trying everything to get out of it physically, and I just couldn't move. And the moment I just surrendered and just gave up everything and just allowed God to take the reins, and I really surrendered, you know, it was a massive battle to start with, and things just started falling into place. And as I've said now, like, the document I wrote at the start of the year is actually the life I'm currently living now, which is amazing. So yeah, really focus on the faith, boys. Really focus on, or ladies, really focus on a relationship with God and purifying your heart. And I want you to forgive. I want you to forgive all of the good, all of the bad that have happened to you, all the bad that you have done, all of the bad where you haven't showed up for yourself. All right, really start to focus on that a little bit more, and really start to come to terms with, let's just bring peace into the next year. Let's just park all of the stuff that we've been carrying. All right, and let's focus on peace. Now, number 5. 5 is an important one. So what we've done here is I've gone down in a little list. We've got clarity, we've laid up the structure, and we've got faith. They're the 3 things you need to focus on. Now, we've got the foundation set. The next 4 are actually ones that could prevent you reaching this outcome. I'm not going to do a video where it's like, do all of this and everything's going to be amazing, and people do this stuff for like clickbait and that. Reality is going to hit, man. You're going to go through a year and things are going to pop up, and we want you to respond and not react to situations. But what we can do is we can prevent the bad happening. How can we prevent the bad happening? We can prevent the bad happening by cutting down what doesn't align with the future version of you. So do your weekends look exactly how the future version of you living in that dream life would be acting? Maybe you're down the pub, maybe you're escaping reality, you know, maybe you're watching porn, maybe you're doing certain things that you shouldn't be doing, and that's operating from the old version of you, which obviously is okay, but in order to go somewhere you've never been, you've got to become someone you never have. All right, if we wake up the same, do the same, and go to bed the same, we're going to get the same outcome. So we really want to put into perspective now what doesn't align. And this is a life audit. I do it with my clients. I always tell them when they come on to me, I'm just like, where do you want to be? And we remove everything out of there that wouldn't actually be currently in that life. So maybe they've got a certain friendship group. Maybe they're wasting their time on social media. Maybe they're falling to lust. Maybe their diet is terrible. Maybe everything they're currently doing, all right, is shocking. And this is a huge part of who you need to be able to become. If we remove what doesn't align with you, all right, you are then cutting out all of the potential things that are going to come up and distract you and pull you back into that guilt and shame and that old version of yourself. Because in order to go to a new frequency, you have an old frequency. I don't want to dive into this too much, but there is, let's call it an entity that has been a part of you for so long. And every single time you try to do better, you find yourself back at square one. You can't seem to be consistent. you end up pissed off, frustrated, annoyed, and then all of a sudden it just feels like you're on this hamster wheel. So every single time you start to get progression in life, we need to make sure that we actually capitalize on that and we actually start to get momentum. Otherwise, you are just going to end up back at square one. And this time next year, you'll be sat there going, oh, I woulda, shoulda, coulda, didn't. All right. So we want to remove all of the stuff that doesn't currently align with you. I want you to get rid of social media. Reason being is because people can say that there's positives from it. People can say that it's good, but ultimately it's not. It's like a slot machine, all right, on your emotions. So if we want the emotions of abundance and someone that's already living their life, if you go into the app, you're just going to get reminded of what you don't have. That's going to put you into a frequency of disappointment, and then you're back down at square one. Your nervous system's going to go back into survival, and ultimately you're just going to absolutely muck up any type of peace that you are working towards. Because if the emotion is the largest shareholder of the universe, we know that we need to be at peace. We need to know that we are in a loving, abundant state. We trust him, we have faith, all right? We're good with, we're good without. So the best way to do that is just to simply remove your social media, all right, and cut out all of the distractions that you have. Because think about it, once you go on the app, bum, boobs, let's say for example there's a war on, riots, stupid video, funny video, dog, cats, something to do with Trump, something to do with all of this other chaotic stuff. You're going lack, guilt, shame, lust, abundance, happy, joy, and your whole emotional state is just going absolutely crazy. So we want to make sure that the easiest thing to do is actually just remove social media. If you have a business, then obviously you do what you need to do, but there's scheduling platforms and there is stuff out there. You know, you could probably get a social media manager for a couple of £100. So that's the main thing we want to be able to do, because we want to start to focus on your dopamine levels. We want to start to focus on actually just getting excitement from doing simple tasks, which brings me on to the next step. I want you to focus on being bored. I want you to focus on actually just getting your brain and your attention span back and being able to get excitement and that natural hit of dopamine from doing work again. Because at the moment we're getting so much instant gratification, right? We're getting so much instant gratification that we are in fact getting to a stage where when it comes to doing tasks, there's just a block. There's just no excitement from doing it. So I sit in silence for an hour a day. Obviously in your morning routine, I've told you to do silence and a visualization. That works as well. You know, just 20 minutes at lunchtime or 20 minutes in the evening, or, you know, just really start to work up to being able to actually be in your own company without needing to constantly be stimulated. Because otherwise you're going to get no fun and excitement anymore. And as soon as I started doing this, like, mate, food actually started tasting better. I noticed nature so much more. When there were sunsets, I was actually present. I wasn't like, oh, I need my phone. I was actually becoming detached, which is a magnetic energy. Then all of a sudden, all of these amazing things just started flying towards me because I just wasn't bothered anymore. I was just like, I'm good with, I'm good without, I'm at peace. And you start to realize that more physical actions doesn't actually lead you down a path of attracting so much more into your life. So it's really important that you start to focus on completely getting your attention span back. You know, short form content is there. There is a war on your attention span when it comes to short form content, when it comes to women, when it comes to insecurities, confidence. All right. So really start to bring yourself into a state of being bored and being at peace. This is the most important one, and I've saved this till last. So they're the distractions, all right, that I want you to get rid of. Get in the shape of your life and stay in the shape of your life. I committed to getting in shape, staying in shape, and not ever getting back out of shape again. And it's been one of the most incredible things that I could have possibly ever done. And it's so important that you focus on being able to take pride in your body, take pride in yourself. It brings a new level of confidence. You know, you break, if you're focusing on getting rid of all of the distractions, you're getting rid of all of the terrible food that you're eating, you know, you're really cutting down and you're going to stop feeding the flesh, which is what we want to be able to focus on. So when you get in the shape of your life, your mindset's right, you're doing all of the internal work, you're crystal clear on what it is you want from the world, this is it. You're now designing the external avatar. How do you want that person to look living in that dream life? How do you want to feel when you walk into meetings? Every single time I've brought on a new client or I've had a new opportunity, they're like, look, I just need to be able to respect you for a man being in shape. That's what drew me to you, is because you're consistently in a level of discipline that I aspire to be like. And, you know, I was never the smartest at school, but I just got myself into the rhythm of just training became effortless. So now I am a person that attracts amazing types of intelligent people for help with life. And it's because I've shown up for myself in a level that only few can. So if you can get yourself into shape and to stay in shape, and I promise you, the faith, the fitness together is one of the most beautiful experiences that you'll be able to just, I can't even put it into words how amazing it is, just having your mornings with God. And you don't need anything. You don't need a partner. You don't need money. You're just constantly showing up for yourself on a daily basis, and everything becomes effortless. Like it is truly beautiful. So that's my biggest list, and I have one more for you. Do not tell anyone what you're doing. Do not tell anyone your dream. Do not tell anyone what you're working towards. Just please move in silence. I cannot stress this enough. How much doubt will affect you. How much them little, oh, you know, but you're not going to be able to do that, or you just don't need to hear it. All right, I don't know the Bible verse exactly, but it's something about like, do not be conformed by the thinking or the ways of the world, or something like that. So in order to be in the 1%, you have to live how the other 99 don't. You have to think how the other 99 don't. You have to act and move how the other 99% don't. And this is exactly how you do it. You wake up, you do the boring work consistently on a daily basis. I'm around people, and you can see my screens here actually. I live in grayscale. So if you go to settings, system settings and color filters, my phone is on grayscale because I don't want them blue lights and that sucking into my brain. And people are just like, how do you do that? Why would you do that? And when I get little things like that, it just puts me on the path of like, I know exactly that I'm doing the right thing. You know, when you're sleeping well and you're having the most amazing days and everything is just so beautiful and moving nicely. And actually, that's another thing. So I said about the morning routine. Obviously, there's a few more steps that you can add. I just wanted to keep it simple for you. In the evening, start to take your sleep, your rest and your downtime a lot more seriously. All right, start to actually get a good 7 or 8 hours sleep. Start taking magnesium glycate. Start taking melatonin. Eye mask, earplugs, black out the room. I used to be one of these people that would sleep for like 5-6 hours, get up, have caffeine and go absolutely mental. And I would just feel like shit after like 5 or 6 hours of being awake. Whereas now my brain function is so much better. My anxiety doesn't exist anymore. I'm operating from a great function, a great energy. I don't rely on coffee to be able to see me through for the rest of the day. So really start to take note of that. Sorry, I knew I should have gone on that structure routine. I should have put evening. There we go. These videos won't be edited. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a load of steps to follow and do. As I said, I'll put a document down below for you to be able to follow with a few other little extra bits in there. And yeah, I hope it goes well. Check back in with me in the next 90 days because ultimately it's how you your life in 90 days. And I'm just wishing you all the best for 2026. And ultimately, right, another little thing I want to say is 2026 might not be your year. You might be full of suffering and pain and brutalness and lessons, but it's because you need to go through it. Maybe you've been avoiding the work, all right? But if it is just, I've had it so many times, next year might not even be my year, and I never want to do one of these channels. In fact, the marketing team are going to say, why did you end the video on that way? And the content lads, but I just want to be real. Not every year is going to be amazing. Maybe you set yourself up for it and it's been shocking. But remember, if you start to respond to situations instead of reacting to situations, all right, it's going to be a hell of a lot better for you. But there is the blueprint. That's exactly how I would master my 2026 if I had to. And that is the simple form of it. So I'm sending you love. I'm sending you light. And if you've had a bad year this year, I'm just well done for making it through to the end. And next year, let's get it. Big love, Mellion Movement, baby.